Hi guys, my name's Chris Marco Flores, and today I'd like to talk you through my customer's journey when they go through my program called Impossible to Possible. And this program is for people who are overweight and they are struggling to get out of a body that they do not feel comfortable in, and they might try for years, lots of different nutrition plans, lots of different weight loss plans. They may lose a little bit of weight, but they end up putting it back on, or they get themselves into a worse position and putting more weight on. So what I want to do, as this is no high production video, but it's going to be incredible value, I would encourage you to get yourself a piece of paper and pen, because you're going to learn a lot of things in this video that's going to help open up your eyes and help you realise why you might not be changing, and some of the things that you might need to do differently and what I do differently. So the things that I'd like to cover is, first of all, 12 months and why my program is 12 months. The second thing is I break the 12 months down into 8 missions, and why I break my program down into 8 missions. The third thing is the aim that I'm trying to achieve for my customers, which is completely different to what other people are doing when they're trying to help people lose weight, which you understand. The fourth thing is the purpose of each mission and the methods that I use within each mission to make sure I get people the results that I want to get for them and for what the customers are trying to achieve. And the last little thing is something that I like to call black and red. Now, I'm not going to go into detail right now, but I'm going to tell you at the end, but it is a really good thing to think about, which is going to help open up your eyes and help you realise kind of like some of the mistakes that you might be hitting if you're in that position. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause this video. We're going to talk about the first one, why it's 12 months, and I'm going to draw something out. So when I pause it, I encourage you to pause it. If you don't have a piece of paper and pen at hand, get yourself a piece of paper and pen, and come back. So just give me a second. Oh, it's not pausing. Right, I'm back. Lovely little picture, as you can see. So the reason why my program is 12 months long is because of the people that I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help people who feel like it's impossible to escape a body that they're in and turn the impossible to possible, hence why it's called Impossible to Possible, the program. And the reason why I do it kind of relates back to my little story, which I'll go over very quickly, is I used to be incredibly unfit, like to the point where fitness was not my friend, and I didn't really have any ambition whatsoever to be fit. And one of the reasons is probably because I didn't feel like I could be fit, and I didn't want to be fit. So doing any sort of fitness or being healthy just wasn't in my mindset or appealing to me. But I joined the army, and in the British Army they took me through a 6 months basic training where I was gated in the camp, and for 6 months they was on my case every single day for that whole time. And within that time it completely changed me. It got me from a position of an incredibly unfit, unhappy person within an unhappy body into like a little machine who was incredibly fit. And then it just kind of opened up a cage where like I'm now fearless to do anything within life. So I'm fearless to any physical challenge, I'm fearless to any mental challenge that's put in place to me. And that's thanks to that 6 months, but it helped me open up my eyes and realise what is actually possible. Now, and so since I started personal training, I've always veered to the people who feel like it's impossible to be happy, or it's possible to be fit, or it's possible to escape a body they're in. And I love it when I'm able to change the impossible to possible, because it's possible for everyone. Everyone's got legs, everyone's got arms, everyone's got a mindset, and they're all muscles, including a mindset. The more you train it, the stronger they become. So what happens, what people do, if they're in a body, and I'm going to use someone, I'm just going to pick a figure out there of a person for an example, and explain what they do and explain what I do, what they do wrong, and what they do with others. So let me say we've got a lady, and she's a size 20, and she's 18 stone, right? And she's tried all the nutrition plans over the time. She's tried multiple different things, and a couple of things what happens why it doesn't work. One is because they're probably focusing on too little, so they only focus on one aspect of changing your lifestyle, or changing your life, which is just nutrition, which is great, and you need to focus on it, but they just do nutrition and not very little or next to no exercise, or they just do exercise and don't really change nutrition that much and hope to change, or they do both but they don't do enough of it or for long enough, and they just do it for a period of time and they always go backwards. So what happened is a lot of stuff out there is this is the unhappy person, size 20, 18 stone, and this is the starting point, and they'll see something like a shiny object, like a transformation program, a 6 weeks transformation program, which is appealing, and to the unknown trained eye, you're going to see lots of pictures of people changing and think that's going to work for me, and it's like amazing, I'll sign up to it. So they sign up to it, lose a bit of weight, they stop by the end of it, and then slowly end up going back to where they don't want to be, or even worse. Or they might go one step further and do a 12-week plan, and within that 12-week plan, same thing happens again. They lose a bit of weight, they feel really good, and they kind of stop, they hit the hurdles, and they end up going backwards. And I kind of have to put my hands up to this, because when I was quite new within the fitness industry, this is the kind of things that I'd put people through, because what I knew. But as I started learning, evolving and developing and testing and trying and going through programs, realised they actually have to go through the same kind of journey that I went through. However, I was caged and I was in a camp where I couldn't really escape. Now, so for people to do it where they're not caged and not in a camp, and they've got all these temptations and they're not being screamed at, shout at, it has to be a longer journey for them to be able to survive and get over. So, within 12 weeks, I can quite comfortably get someone who's who's a size 20, 18 stone, and I can get them to lose 3 stone quite easily within 12 weeks. It's just shy of 3 stone what it is. The first month is 1 stone, the second month is a 2nd stone easily, and the third month is just shy of a stone, and that's the normal trend of what people go through if they go through the program. So that seems great, right? You lose 3 stone. However, if you stop and you start slowing down because you think you're winning, you're going to slowly go backwards, and you'll slowly go backwards to the point you end up back at the start. So 12 weeks is amazing, and it'll help you change your body shape, but you've got to change your lifestyle, not just your diet and just the sort of image you have. And it takes 12 months, because you've got to take 12 months to shift your bad habits, to control your emotional hormones, because your emotional hormones are suppressed by bad habits, and that's the reason why you're here. And the reason being is because you don't have the knowledge to do so. So you have to spend 12 months shifting yourself, like changing, going from one level to the next level, to the next level, to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. And then by going through the whole 12 months, you might not need the whole 12 months, but if you put 12 months in place, you're going to be in such great position to sustain it or go even better without anyone's help. If you only spend 6 weeks, you're going to go backwards. If you only spend 12 weeks, you're going to go backwards. You need to understand this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And even if people like jump in for liposuction, and the liposuction will suck all the fat out of the body, they still got to spend the time trying to shift, get rid of the bad habits. And if they haven't done any exercise before the liposuction, they've got to learn to start exercising, and they're not going to enjoy it at first, because no one enjoys exercising to start off with. People only enjoy exercising when they're fit, and you have to take a period of time to get fit, and in that period of time it sucks. But once you get to that position where you're fit, then you enjoy it. So it still takes a journey to get on to where you need to be. And that's why I spend 12 months and not just 6 weeks or 12 weeks is not the right thing to do. So that's the 12 months and why people go to 12 months and why they're doing it. So I'm going to go on to the second bit, which is 8 missions. So give me a second, and why I do 8 missions. I'm just going to pause it, make another little drawing, and I'm going to come back. Right, I'm going to draw on this in a second. However, so 8 missions, and why have I put my program breaking it down into 8 missions? And the reason why I'm breaking it down is because, one, it relates to my story and how it's helped me change, and how it helps my customers change. And when I was in the army, they'd done a lot of things to me, and they put me through a lot of challenges that I didn't realise what had done to me until I've looked back on it, like later on down the line. For example, there's challenges that I thought I could never complete, and on the challenges I wanted to quit, but by completing the challenges, it unlocked a a knock-on effect to the point where it made me want to do more. So it's kind of related to my army story, but also I also remember when I was sent overseas. I went to Iraq for 12 months. The first day I was in Iraq, I was handing over with the other group of army people there, and they was going back to America where I was based, and I was there for the first day, and one of the boys was like, "You're going to be here for 365 days," and I was standing there thinking, "I'm going to be here for 365 days," and it felt like a lifetime away because I was stripped away from everything, like, you know, stripped away from my family, stripped away from all the things that, the freedom that I was so used to having. So it was a very daunting feeling to have. Now, there's a very good story about when people used to pick cotton in the cotton fields. Picking cotton, you know, you'd be one side of the field and you've got to try and get to the other side of the field picking cotton. And when you look up, it looks so far, you know, it feels next to impossible. So what the leaders would do, they'd normally pick up a stick and they would chuck this stick. And they'd chuck the stick as far as they can and be like to the group, right, all we're going to do is focus on getting to the stick. And then when we get to the stick, he picks up the stick again and chucks it. And they focus on getting to the stick, and they break it down. It's the same thing, but mentally it makes it so much more easier. So, and there's purpose to each mission. So really break it down, because what I want you to achieve in 12 months, there's no way you're going to be able to achieve within, say, 6 weeks' time, which is how they are broken down. So, a bit like the cotton bud story, you know, if I said to you, this is 12 months, and I want you to do exercise and nutrition for 12 months. And just follow this plan, it's going to be very daunting, and I want you to go from being able to do, say, you might not even be able to walk or run or walk a very long distance, and I was like, your aim is to complete a marathon in 12 months time, and it's like, so go from 0 to 26 miles, it's like, that is impossible. So the first thing we do, we break it down into 8 missions, and that each mission is 6 weeks long. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've not done that right, but you break it down into 8 sections. Let's just put one here. And so all you do, you don't worry about 12 months, you don't worry about that at all. Your only mission to focus on when you start is to try and get yourself to the 6 weeks. And there's a challenge at the end of this 6 week that you need to achieve, which I'm going to go into more details in the fourth part of this thing. So, and the way I do it, I put it into an online portal, and in this online portal, it's completely broken down into 8 missions. You get the coaching of myself, and I talk you through how you get to these 8 missions. So mentally, it makes it so much easier, and it breaks it down in depth to the point where you break down the nutrition, you break down the exercising, and it works on levels. And then you break it down a bit like the cotton field. So all you do 6 week stinks, all right? And every 6 weeks you've got another challenge, and that's what you are able to achieve in the 4th mission, or which is 6, 12, 18, 24 weeks of the time you start. There'd be no way you'd be able to achieve it when you very first start. So it helps on the mind, it helps on the mindset, it relates to the story of what helped me when I was in the army, what helped me change my lifestyle, which is what's going to happen to yourself, and it breaks it down. So that's the 8 missions. So I'm going to go on to the 3rd one. I'm going to pause it quickly, wipe off, and put in a great analogy of the aim and what I'm trying to get you to achieve, which no one else is trying to do. So just give me a second. Right, so this is my favourite part. So my aim for each customer is to change your lifestyle, not just change your diet. I want to install a mindset inside you so you are able to achieve anything you want without the help of anyone else. And if you ever want help from anyone else, then it's just when you ask them or take their help, it's just a bonus, but you're able to achieve anything you want without the help of anyone else. Now, so this is the way it works. This is why it's so different to other people, because when you're trying to join a weight loss journey or trying to lose weight, people focus so much on the scales and getting the scales to drop. That's not my challenge. I don't care about size 0 and I don't care about 6-packs. Because a size 0 and a 6-pack, they don't last forever, but a mindset does. For a great example is, I'm training, quick story, I was incredibly fit. I got to a stage in my life a few years ago where I wanted to train people and create a great business by helping people escape a body or lose weight. And by spending so much time trying to create a business and looking after other people's health, I was neglecting my health. Because I was so fit, I was just maintaining, so I wasn't trying to advance. And by maintaining, I wasn't doing as much exercise as I needed to, and I wasn't eating enough of the good foods that I needed to. And as I was doing that, I was slowly going backwards, so my fitness was dropping, and I was eating more bad food, and I was creating more bad habits to the point it's kind of spiraling out of control. So I got out of shape, my fitness levels dropped completely, and this year, like towards the end of last year, I was like, right, I need to focus on myself and put myself through the program and get myself out the position where I've got myself to before it gets too late. And so I'm putting myself through the program, and within 6 weeks, I'm completing a half marathon, which is in 2 weeks away from now. And 3 weeks ago, I was struggling to do 6 miles running. Like, I couldn't run the whole 6 miles. I was walking, stopping. So when I do the half marathon, I'm not going to be ready, but I'm going to be so much more ready because of the mindset that I had previously, that I knew I'm going to be able to complete it. Do I have a shredded body? No, I don't have a shredded body like you see the aesthetic peoples do. My fourth mission within this journey, I'm going to get a six-pack, because people say, don't think, as I've been saying the message, I don't care about six-packs. People have been telling me that I can't get a six-pack, so I'm going to walk and talk through how to get a six-pack. I'm going to publish it. I'm going to show it to the world. I'm going to break it right down and just give it to other people to see how to create a six-pack and what you need to do to create a six-pack. But right now, that's not my main priority. My main priority is getting my mindset strong and getting the miles underneath my feet, because that's more important to me. So what I want to talk about, if I bring someone on who's a size 20, okay, the first thing I want to do, I want to figure out what they would like to achieve that they think is impossible to achieve, and really break down. So say someone's a size 20, normally what's quite impossible for someone to achieve is to be a size 10, and they'd be happy just to be a size 16 because they've been a size 20 for a long period of time. So the impossible goal for me, for them, is to hit a size 20. Now my aim at the program after 12 months, they might not hit a size 10, and they probably won't hit a size 10, but that's not the aim. The aim is to get them to the point at the top. This is a picture of a mountain, a funny looking mountain. But if I can get them to the top of the mountain, coming down is going to be a lot easier than going up. But what a lot of people do is, and this is what's going to relate to you, and you're going to understand this, when people start a nutrition plan or a diet, you know, there's a point, a threshold where people get to, and it's like, right, I really need to change. So when people hit size 20, or not people, everyone's different. So for you, it might be size 16. For someone else, it might be size 18. But there's some sort of threshold where people hit, and it's like, right, I need to sort my act together, and I need to lose some weight. So what they do, they sign up to a program. And when they sign up to a program, this is what happens. They might do it for 6 weeks, they might do it for 12 weeks. And in that 6 weeks or 12 weeks, they go up to here. And this is the first stage, the first level. And up, as they go up, they're improving. The further they go up, the more they improve. And as they go up this mountain, because this is the finish, this is the start. As they go up the mountain and they do the weight loss program, they lose weight. They might lose 1 stone, they might lose 2 stone. But when they lose that 1 stone and 2 stone, what happens, they might have chose the diet that's too hard to sustain. They might chose the exercise plan that's too hard to sustain and it's too hard to continue on. Or they might have, which becomes a lifestyle pattern, they lose weight, and because they lose weight, they feel happy and they feel better, so they kind of relax and they slowly go back to their old lifestyle. And when they hit this point, they end up going back down. And they go back down after time, they end up going back to their threshold, which could be, what it might be size 20, like I said, might be size 16. But as soon as they hit that threshold again, they're going to be like, oh, I need to lose weight. You know, I need to escape this body. And because they didn't fully escape the body with the program that they was on, they'll either think it worked but didn't do it long enough, which is a smart thing, which is true, or they end up blaming the program, thinking the program didn't work because I wasn't able to fully escape. So what happens, they go to another plan and they look for something else. So they look for another nutrition plan, they look for another weight loss program, they look for another personal trainer, they look for something else. They go to that personal trainer weight loss plan, they do it again. So they go up this mountain, they hit the same thing they normally hit, they hit the same sort of threshold, they lose the same sort of amount of weight, 1 stone, 2 stone, whatever it might be, and the same thing will happen. They'll relax, they won't do it enough, and what happens? They come back down the mountain again. and then slowly, surely, they hit their threshold and think, oh, I need to change. Again, they might try the same program again and do the same thing and keep repeating the same program, going up and down. They either don't do it long enough, or they're not advancing the program to the next stage. And this is what people call yo-yo diet. So you just yo-yo diet. So you lose a bit of weight, you're comfortable, you're happy, or it doesn't move you to the next stage, and then you have to go back down. Then you lose a bit of weight, come back down, up and down, up and down. People do this for the rest of their life, and they end up blaming the program, or they don't do it long enough. And what happens is, if it's not the program and they've done the program long enough and they stick to the program, then they need to go to the next room, because sometimes that program can only get you to a certain level, and therefore you have to advance to the next level and go to a harder level with a harder nutrition plan and a harder exercise plan to improve. So the way I do it is as I break it down into 8 missions, what happens, each mission is going to get you to a certain distance, and it's different for different people. You know, I could put someone on a nutrition plan. I've got an estimate of what people lose, but if someone's a size 20, within the first month they're easily going to lose a stone. If someone's a size 16, they might only lose half a stone within that first month, or only drop 1 size, whereas a size 20 would drop 2 size. So it's different for different people. Also, people's mindsets are different. So some people, it can take 3 missions and they can hit the top. So their mindsets change and they understand, well, this is the point of no return. And this is them feeling like, oh, I'm definitely going to escape now. I am not going backwards. But if they're here, they're always going to go backwards. Some people take 3 missions. Some people take 8 missions to get to the top. You know, my program most likely won't get you all the way to the end, but it's going to get you to the point where you're not going to need anyone, and you can just repeat the same program. You're just going to have to change it slightly, which you'll see. So the way it happens is I completely break it down. I break it down into nutrition levels, down to 4 different levels. I break the exercise down into 4 different levels. And the challenges, they start by walking, so a walking level. And what happens when you're mission 1, easy peasy, easy level. You know, you're just going from a very poor nutrition to good nutrition, and doing that alone is going to help you improve. And then you do a challenge that you feel like you cannot achieve. It might just be walking. It might be walking 3K. It might be running 3K. It might be walking 5K. It might be running 5K. You know, it all depends on the abilities that you can do. And then when you get to that level, you then go on to the next mission, which is missions number 2, which then the nutrition increase slightly and the exercise increase slightly. And what happens? It gets you to the next stage. And then you don't stop there. You go to the next mission, which is mission 3. The nutrition gets slightly harder. The exercising gets slightly harder. You go up the mountain and you keep repeating this process. And what will happen when you get to the top here, what this is, if people keep going up this mountain and they hit the second stage and then they get past a bit where they've always got past, but they're not at the top and they only get to the second stage, they will end up going back down the mountain again. They have to get to the top, and if they don't get to the top, they go down. Getting to the top is them realising, or you realising, people realising, I am at the point of no return. I am not going to ever put weight back on again. I'm going to continue to the goal that I want to achieve. And it's set in your mind that you understand that you've got to change your lifestyle and you've got to do a lot more of what you're doing. But it's much easier for you to achieve because it now feels like a lifestyle rather than a chore sort of thing. So my aim is to get you to the top of this mountain. And when you're at the top of this mountain, you know, all I need to do is sit back and just enjoy the ride, because you'll just be able to go down the mountain. It's not going to be easy. It's still going to be hard, but you're going to have the mindset to achieve it pretty much by yourself. And then the support is just going to be a bonus, which you should have and stick with, because the accountability and think it's incredibly powerful, you know. And the 12 months, you know, you might be down halfway down the mountain, but you've got the knowledge. You go through the program again, and then you hit where you want to hit very easily. And when you do this, it shows you can achieve the impossible. So I'm going to go on to the next one. I'm going to break down the missions, what they are, why they are, and the purpose of each one. Okay, so give me a second. Right, okay, so there's 2 parts to this section, and it's the missions. And these are the missions. I'm going to tell you the names of the missions, but then I'm going to explain the 3 most important missions. The first and most important one is the unlock, which is the very first one. The second one is escape in shallow hell. It's actually the 4th one, but the second most important. And then the third is remember and realizing. And this is going to help you escape that body that you feel trapped in. All the others are incredibly important, but these are the most important ones. Then I'm going to explain the formula of how I'm going to help, or what we do to get people from this stage to this stage to this stage to this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. All right. So the names of the missions. The first mission is unlock. The second one is believe. The third is achieve. The fourth is escape in shallow hell. The next one is fight in the fear. The next one is impossible to possible. Impossible to possible. The third important one is R&R. It's not relax and relax and realization, whatever it is. It's actually remember and realize. And the final one is fearless, freedom, and pride. Okay, so why number one is the most important? Important is called unlock. It's unlocking your mind to helping you understand that you can achieve more than you can imagine. And the best way I can explain this is with a little story of one of my clients. So I had a client, her name was Lynn. Lynn, when she first met me, all she wanted to do was lose weight and feel better. That is it. So when I first met her, I said, well, okay, Lynn, this is the procedure we're going to go through. But in this procedure, I want you to complete a 10K obstacle course within 6 weeks' time. And she wanted to lose 2 stone. She hadn't done any exercise for a very long time. She's a size 18, if I remember. And for her to complete a 10K obstacle course felt like an impossible task. And for me, the aim was just to complete it. I didn't care about the time. I didn't care if we walked around or walked the whole way, but I just wanted her to complete it. I was in a big group, so it wasn't just her, there's a few other people. So her first reaction was, no, I'm not doing it, Chris. I just want to be fit and healthy. It's like, fine, no problem. So we started going through the procedure, started training her, started putting things into place. And every week I was like, come on, let's do the 10K obstacle course. She's like, nope, no, I'm not ready. Anyway, I managed to explain to her and help her understand the reason why I wanted to do it. On the first day, she told me, Chris, I'll do the 10K obstacle course in 12 months' time of training, not in 6 weeks of training. However, I was managed to help her or get her to sign on to the 10K obstacle course, which was called Mission Unbreakable, and I've got lots of pictures of it. And then it was the day, and on the day, pretty much the majority of people who signed up didn't want to do it and did not feel ready. I was able to get them to the event, and by getting them to the event, especially Lynn, it created a knock-on effect. So we done the obstacle course. It took us a long time, which wasn't the problem, but we all completed, which was the best, which was the aim of the challenge. And by completing it, since then she's done another 10K obstacle course. She climbed Ben Nevis and she signed up to a half marathon, and I only asked her to do the one, and she's done all the other events within 9 months of doing that first event. So what it does, it unlocks your mind and it creates a snowball effect. All right. However, sometimes it takes 2 missions or challenges, and sometimes it takes 3 challenges for that to happen. And also what it does, it helps you realise you're able to achieve more than you can imagine. Therefore, you're shifting your focus from just trying to lose weight to the bigger picture, which is changing your lifestyle and becoming fitter. And if you become fitter and you train for challenges like this, your weight's just going to drop, you're going to look better and you're going to look sexier, but you're not focusing on just trying to lose weight and just dropping the pounds. Because if you're just trying to focus on losing weight and dropping the pounds, if them pounds don't go down, the pounds go up, it's going to dishearten you, and the pounds might go up, but you might still be winning. And if you're not explained that you're winning and the pounds are going up, it's going to dishearten you and put you off track. But if you understand that you are winning and the reason why the pounds are going up, but you are shrinking, it helps you understand, it helps you look at the much bigger focus rather than the small focus. So that's the first one. The next most important one is called Escaping Shallow Hell, because people can lose weight. People say they only need to lose 3 stone, and they go from, say, like a size 16 to a size 12 or 10, and which they're in a much happier position, or better position, shall I say, but they're not much happier because they feel like they're in a shallow hell mode, or they feel like the person they first was, like mentally, and they don't realise how much they've changed. So there's a very good method and way I help people to escape shallow hell, and in fact I'll just tell you. So, and the way I do it is you have to change, And then once you change, you've changed yourself quite a bit, you then go find someone who was in your position, and then you explain to them what they can achieve and get to where you want to be. And by getting people to do that, what it does, it helps the people who've lost weight. So say the person's lost 3 stone, and they're now helping someone who's, say, was size 20 and they were size 20, but they're no longer size 20, or who's 18 stone, they're now 15 stone. It helps them show how much they've changed and how impossible it feels like the person who's size or 18 stone, and it kind of unlocks something in their mind. It's like, oh, actually, I have changed. This person is now where I want to be, and it is possible to change where, and they can see how painful they're in, but they can show what they need to do. So what it does, it really unlocks the mind. So that's just one little aspect of how to escape Inshallah How, but there's so much more detail into that of how to actually get out that mindset and realise that you have changed and kind of reward yourself instead of still thinking you haven't changed. The third one, and the third most important one, is R&R. Remember and realising, same thing, it's quite similar to Escape Inshallah How, but you've got to kind of do this on a fitness level, and yeah, on a fitness level, because as you start to become fitter, you never realise how unfit you was, and when you become fit, all you want to do is become fitter and fitter and fitter and fitter, and I was a prime example for that. So when I was in the British Army, or even when I come out, I become incredibly fit, and I would be training 4 hours a day, like nearly every day of the week. And people might say that's too much. I'm never going to expect anyone to do what I done. However, I got a real obsession of fitness when I got into a certain stage, and now I've got a good balance. But when I was in that stage, if I missed one day of fitness, I was like, oh, all my fitness is gone. I'm not fit enough. I can't go to the running race because I'm not going to good enough time, because I didn't feel like I was fast enough for it. However, I didn't really realise how fit I was until I left, and now I realised kind of things I was mistaken, and that's what happens when people go through the journey. So when they first start, they can't do anything. In 3 months' time, they're able to do so much more, but they feel like the same thing. If they miss a session or a weaker session, all their fitness is gone, but it's not gone, it's still there. So what you do, quite simple, when you do this first challenge, you time it. The aim is just to complete it. You're not trying to race or pin, you're not trying to challenge, compete in the challenge, you're just trying to complete the challenge, but you do time it. So say like it's a 5k distance that you've got to walk, run, swim, whatever it is, you time it. And then when you come here to R&R, you do the very first challenge, and then you time it again, and then you're going to see such a big shift. And then that piece of paper, you look at it and be like, wow, I've changed so much. So that's a really good way of doing it, but there's also lots of different other methods for different people how to remember and realise. But it's very important, and it helps you get out of that mindset and helps you change your lifestyle, not just your just the diet, and just focus on one thing. So the formula I take people through things, but there's actually 6, but there's 2 of them together. So it's mindset plus challenges plus exercise and nutrition, which goes together, plus planning plus preparation. Now, it's very important to have these together, because what some people do when they're trying to escape a body, they'll just have this. They'll just have the exercise and nutrition part, or they'll just have this bit, or they'll just have this bit, and they won't have anything of the others. Now, some of these seem quite tedious, like planning and preparation, but it's so important and it's so powerful if you put the plan and preparation in place. The people who plan win better. The people who plan and prepare have a greater chance of winning. And the people that I train who stick to this formula change. Like, there's a very clever way to consciously change your mindset or get your mindset into a good position, because some people won't consciously get themselves into a good mindset, and if they don't get into a good mindset of understanding they're going to be taken on a 12-month journey, and they just wake up and like, yeah, I'm going to do it, no problem, they're probably going to fall off as soon as they hit it. But when they get in a good mindset and then really dive down into why they're doing what they're doing, create the challenges, create the goals, create the barriers, create a vision, it strengthens them chances of succeeding a lot greater. Challenges are the most powerful thing that you can have when you're doing a weight loss journey to help you stay focused. A bit like the cotton field, you chuck a stick, you got to get to that one, you chuck a stick, you got to get to the next one. Ultimately, what people are trying to do is lose weight. but there's a reason why people want to lose weight. Now, if you just focus on losing weight, you kind of take your mind away from actually why you want to do it. A bit like Lynn, all she wanted to do was to lose weight. However, I put a challenge in her, just one challenge, and that one challenge created a snowball effect, and all this just naturally happened. So challenges are incredibly powerful, and the challenges get harder and harder and harder and harder. They don't get easier, they get harder. Apart from the R&R. Exercise and nutrition. I break the exercise and nutrition down to 4 levels, and I've told you, but what people do is they will either start a nutrition plan that's incredibly strict, and they've gone from a poor nutrition to a really good nutrition. And what that is like, that's like someone going into a gym who's never been into a gym and trying to lift 100 kilograms, and they've never tried to lift 10 kilograms. And when they try and lift 100 kilograms, they cannot do it. So you have to break it down. You have to start off at like probably 0 or like 5 kilograms. Once you lift 5 kilograms long enough, you go to 10, then you go to 20, then you go to 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So you progress your strength, and you should progress on your nutrition levels, because if you don't progress in your nutrition levels, and you go from a poor nutrition to a really strict, let's say strict nutrition, where you're counting every single macro, and counter macro is where you divide your protein, carbs and fats and calculate how much protein, carbs and fat you need, and you exclude everything that you're used to, all the stuff that you're used to, your mindset is going to go slightly crazy. There's only a very small percentage of people who could go from 0 to 100. And when you try and stick to this diet, what will happen, everything in your mind will try its hardest to go back to your original lifestyle. And if you had a more poor nutrition and you used to eat a lot of takeaways, fizzy drink lots of alcohol, then your mind, every time it sees that stuff, it's going to convince you why you should do it and why you shouldn't do this. And as soon as you stop this, you open up like some sort of floodgate, and you do more of the bad stuff because you've kind of neglected it for a little bit, and your body wants it and craves it, and it's what it's used to. So what you do, you've got to go from stages, and the best way to do it is this. I can draw this out actually. So just remember them 3. But this is what happened, and in fact, I'm going to drop names in it. So, okay, there's different stages. There's say the first stage, someone's really poor. This is poor nutrition. You know, fizzy drink, exactly what we talk. Fizzy drink, takeaways, alcohol. All right. And this is the really strict one, which is strict Rick's diet. Now, some people don't need to get to this stage, but if you really want to advance, you can. But what happens, people go to a weight loss program, and they'll be encouraged to have food, and they can have as much food as they want of certain food, which is great. And it's a really good tool, because what it does, it kind of shifts people from a bad nutrition to a good nutrition, and it doesn't have any worries of counting calories or any of that sort of stress that's added, because they're already having some stress going from a poor nutrition to a good nutrition. But what happens, people stay at this stage. They stay at the stage where they just eat good nutrition, but they don't calculate how much they're putting into their body. And if you don't calculate how much you put into the body, you don't know. But by just going from a poor nutrition to a good nutrition, you're naturally going to lose weight anyway. But then there's going to come a position where you're going to plateau. And when you plateau, you must go to the next stage. If you do not go to the next stage, you're not going to advance. And if you don't advance, slowly or later, you're going to be stuck in this stage thinking, well, it's not working, this is pointless, I might as well just go back to doing what I enjoy, which is the bad lifestyle. So you start on the beginner's level, you go to the next stage. Once you finish that, you've got to advance to the next stage. And if you want to, there's more stages, like in between strict Rick's diet. You keep advancing to the point where you want to be, and then where you want to be, you can kind of come back to here. You know, just have a good nutrition, not worry about the calculating thing, because you've gone through the process and you completely changed. Now, and the exercise is the same, so it's broken down. It's broken down into levels, and the way I do it is some missions have, like, to start off with, I put people through one is a detox. It's only 7 days. It's the hardest nutrition plan of all of them, and the reason being is it helps clean the toxins out of the body. It helps decrease the amount of caffeine you crave. It helps decrease the amount of sugar they crave. But also, the reason why I do it, if you do the 7 days the hardest, it's because it's when people are the most motivated when they first start a plan. And then after the 7 days, it goes to something called a Keep It Simple. It was a very simple plan. However, that Keep It Simple plan, if they went from a very poor nutrition to that Keep It Simple plan, they're going to find it very hard because they're having a bad nutrition to a good nutrition. However, when I put that 7-day detox in, it's an incredibly hard thing to do. And then after the 7 days, doing the Keep It Simple feels like it's amazing because they have so much more food and it's like a relief, and they enjoy it so much more because it's so much easier because I actually put them on and kind of trick their mind. It's a very clever tool to do. But Keep It Simple, very simple. I go to the next stage where they count the calories. What I'm trying to explain, so they have 2 nutrition plans, another nutrition plan, another nutrition plan, another one, but they get harder as they progress, and it teaches you things. And it's the same with the exercise. You start very simple. In fact, you start off with walking. If you could do more than walking, you can run, and you've got a slight bit of exercise within you, you just go to the level 2, and the level 2 is where you increase the intensity. But if you can't, you start at level 1. You start off simply just walking. Reason being, you've got to get your mind and your body prepared that is going to be exercising for a numerous amount of days a week. And by doing so, if you just do it simply by walking 1 hour a day for 3 to 5 days a week, then you're telling your body, this 1 hour I'm walking or exercising, it gets rid of the cobwebs. So when you could increase the intensity, your body's somewhat prepared. And then you increase it, because if you just go too hard into the exercising, it does the same as nutrition. It makes you feel sick. You feel like you can't keep up. It's not enjoyable. It's too stressful on the body, and you'll give up and you won't do it. And then you put an aspect of planning in place, and you put an aspect of preparing. Very, very simple little tools, but very effective. So I'm going to go on to the last bit now, which is called Black and Red, and I'll explain it in a second, but it's very powerful. Right, so the best way to explain this, I just want to use an analogy, okay, and just kind of put this into a story, but it's going to help you understand. So what we've got here, we're going to give these people's names. We're going to give Mary here, who's red, and then let's say John. Let's give him names. John and Mary. No reason, just their names. Okay, so let's say John and Mary, they work together in an office, and they wanted to get fit. Neither of them do any fitness or exercise, so no one knows whose fitness level's better or what. But no one does any exercise. They've both got very poor nutrition, but they both want to be fit. So they say to each other, let's have a little friendly competition, and in 2 months we're going to have a running race. And let's say this running race is 3 miles long, and whoever wins £100. So they put £100 into the pot, and then they got 6 weeks to train, or 2 months to train. And however, the office, let's pretend you're part of that office. Everyone in the office started getting involved and making bets. Now you have got to decide which one would you put your money on, who's going to win. Now what happens is John just wants to do it by himself and goes out and trains. So all he does is put one foot in front of the other, and he just does that every now and then. But Mary wants to learn how to run, and all you got to do when you run is just run, and that's it. It's as simple as that. However, Mary, she goes finds a coach, a running coach, who knows how to run, who knows what kind of running she needs to start off with, what she needs to eat, when she needs to eat, how much she needs to eat, when she needs to do kind of like sprint training, if she doesn't need to do sprint training, when she needs to rest, if she needs to get massages, and whatever she does. John knows this, but he doesn't want to. He just wants to do it all by himself. And Mary buys a trainer to help teach her how to run faster and better, so when it comes to 3 months or in 2 months' time, she's got an understanding and the training of doing so. Now, the question to you is, who would you put your money on? Would you put your money on John, who just learns by himself and just tries to wing it? Or would you put your money on Mary, who buys a coach who knows exactly what they are doing to teach her? For me, I'd 100% put my money on Mary, because it just makes logical sense. Now, this relates to absolutely everything in life. Like within business, that happens quite a lot within business. People in business try and do it by themselves. Smart people find people who've done business before, buys their knowledge and then creates very good business very quickly because of the knowledge they are taught. People who start business themselves, they always go backwards. Fitness and health is the same. It's quite simple. All you got to do is eat healthy and exercise. However, there's very clear methods of what you need to do. So this is kind of relating to yourself. If you're someone who always tries to wing it and tries to do it themselves, but always feel like you're going backwards and you're never actually achieving, maybe it might be worth exploring the idea of reaching out to people who have the current best practice. Like if you're in a position that who is obese and or overweight and they're size 16 or more, but my program is an incredible program and it has the current best practice, it has the methods. If you hit hurdles, it's probably a hurdle that I've heard you hit before and it's very easy for me to overcome, but you won't have a clue how to overcome it. And if you follow my methods and things that I teach, you will escape and you end up becoming like Mary and have a greater chance of winning rather than being like John and just trying to wing it and thinking you can do it yourself. So what I want to explain to you is like, are you going to put your chips on and your money on for yourself to win? Are you going to do it on black or are you going to do it on red? And if you're someone who does need help, then I encourage you to reach out to me or one of the team. We'll happily walk and talk you through what we have to offer to help you escape a body that you feel trapped in, and put you through the process that we put many people through who've been able to escape, and help people cancel gastric bands, help lose 9 stone. 41 people lose over 100 stone within 6 months. So it's a phenomenal program. So if you do have any questions, reach out to me. If you've enjoyed this video, put it in the comments below wherever I posted this. If you liked it, let other people know. If you didn't like it, let me know, and then I can find out why you didn't like it. But apart from that, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.